Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Let's look ahead. It's not the end of the road by any means for Team India. It's just a little blimp on one of those many speed breakers around the Firozshah Kotla. They're going to fly to the airport and go off to Cuttack. And another big arena, another packed arena, Joy, at the Bhattacharjya Stadium. It's come a long way, the stadium. Short drive from Bhubaneswar, but again, the crowd support should be there. No better venue for India to try and level a series.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one because at this point in time, how many changes do you make? Do you make changes at all? And I'm suggesting that given the confidence of the players, you're not going to drop a Harshal Patel after one match or one bad over. When you look at it, in fact, if you look at it, the person who's been under pressure was the captaincy, was the captain himself. I mean, he's the only one under pressure. There's no other change you should make because the batting has delivered. None of the bowlers, Zaheer Khan has done well for himself. Akshar Patel has done his job. Chahal didn't get a chance to do his job. Do you drop Bhubaneswar Kumar? I don't think so. Do you drop Harshal Patel after one match? You don't. So that's what I'm thinking. This is not a team which should panic or make changes after this one match. This was a blip. There were some extraordinary innings. There's some bad decisions on our part. There are a couple of dropped catches. But this team should play the next one. And I think they're good enough to beat the South Africans if they play their game.
Quick one on the possible surface, and I think this is something we talk about. It's too early to do a pitch report, but we can certainly do a pitch prediction here. The Bhattacharjya Stadium in Cuttack used to have low and slow pitches. I've seen a few of them in my time on holidays there. Now the local association has introduced a newly laid sand-based outfield, making good conditions despite rain. The conditions might be changed because of that, so not easy to make predictions regarding the pitch and the outfield, as this will, Zaheer, be the first time after the changes. So they've tried to make a change. We don't know what's coming, but if you had to prepare a pitch to India's liking, given the makeup of both sides, Zaheer, what would you be if you were the curator at the Bhattacharjya?
Well, they're talking about the outfield, isn't it? The sand-based outfield, or improving on the drainage system of the ground, to make sure that if there is rain-affected game, the ground is available as fast as possible. But there's no mention of whether the soil which they've used in the pitch has that been changed. So those are the factors which will decide. If it's not the case, then the basic nature of the wicket will remain the same. The pitch will still be around of similar nature, maybe slightly two pace. We've seen the low bounce there. So you can expect that, unless you go and practice there on the practice pitches and you find something different. So that judgment call will be based on the actual situation when you practice. But other than that, I think in spite of the conditions, I still feel that I don't see any change in the playing 11. There will be talks around that in terms of how you could have closed different situations of the game. Because the margins are very small. When you score 211 runs, you would expect, doesn't matter what the conditions are, you would expect your bowling lineup to go out there and do the job for your team. That has not happened. The series which was coming to my mind was the ODI series, where we've seen against Australia, when they were playing in India, you've seen excess of 350 was chased. And then you've seen some lower order hitting. Faulkner was in great form, and you've seen some close games which are not been the high scoring games, which were not being closed by the bowling lineup. Somewhere it can happen, so you want to stop that from happening. So it's about just understanding those small little things, the decision making under pressure, and how you can create an impact. Because like how you're saying, if it's 12.5 runs per over for half of the innings, you just got to maybe get one delivery right every over, and the outcome could have been different, right? So these are the small things which we're talking about. So you can either complicate things too much, or you can just stick to addressing it in a very simpler manner. I think that's what is required for bowling unit at this stage, because these are the games which can really take your morale down, and you can really start finding answers to the questions which are not present there. So you don't want that happening. You want to still keep things pretty simple and just play the game how it's unfolding. and make the decisions which are simpler or stick to the process. So I think those are the things which are going to be important from Indian team's point of view. Other than that, like we said, it's going to be exciting series to watch now.
Yeah, so no recommended changes for Team India. Close game, but India falling short in terms of being on the victory side. What about South Africa? Not in terms of touching a winning 11. You wouldn't want to do that. But purely from composition, purely from the fact that, yes, maybe the surface might change. We're not sure about Aiden Markram and how long he'll take to come back. But Zaheer, I'll stay with you first, then come to Joy. Were you absolutely happy with the 11, both Shamsi and Maharaj playing, given that India went after them? Or you want to bring back one quicker bowler?
They might think about that, but when you won a game like this, you would want to continue with that. And generally in Indian conditions, you've seen that you want two spinners in the side. So those options are required. If Markram was fit and available, then it would have been a different story. I think they could have gone in that direction where they could have started with Markram, thinking that okay, get 1 or 2 overs out, something on those lines. But since he's not available, I think they will stick to the same personnel in that playing 11. They will take a lot of confidence from this game, and would want to rectify the errors in thinking which they had during their bowling stint. So that is something which is going to be the same case, I think, for both the teams. Their homework or back to the drawing board is going to be around bowling and around the plans, what they had around how they looked at the conditions, what would have been the better options, and how can you improve on your decision making under pressure. So I think these are the things which both the teams which will be looking at. Batting, both the teams are happy. But if you had asked Indian team is going to score 211 runs, you would have said, oh, fantastic, that's game in the pocket. And you look at the South African team, they're going to say that, oh, we've chased down 211. We just got everything sorted right now with regard to batting. Just keep the tempo going, keep the morale going. So I think both the teams are going to be concerned about the bowling plans.
Yep. So I'm going to throw the same question to Joy to finish with, in terms of possible changes, even one possible change, or you keep the 11 purely based on the winning combination.
No, exactly. The only one we would have thought about if Markram was fit was Ngidi for maybe Keshav Maharaj, because I think the off spin it's slightly easier for the batsman, but that doesn't look likely at this point in time. They'll always play the second spinner. And, Rassie van Dusen was the only real weak point in this innings. The way he's played today, I don't think they can drop him or give anyone else a chance. Not at this point in time, at least. So, yeah, it's very much game on. And, this is a South African team that is surprised, because South Africa has traditionally done that. They've scared India. They've shown how good they are, and then they've suddenly fallen short. And today they've done it. And it just opens up the series so much better. If India had won convincingly here, there would have been a little bit of boredom about the series, or another bilateral series going down. I think this is just sparked off this series, and it should be exciting to watch from here on.